Hello everybody, you can call me Hunch, and today we're going to be talking about the SIP 031. Let me just say that I got a lot of flack for a long time for criticizing stacks. I never left. I did that to bring awareness, right? And it worked, but a lot of people criticized me for that, right? I said, like, there's no degeneracy. They can't ship their products like Leather Wallet. To put it another way, like, it was just like a fragmented mess, right? And now everybody is seeing that with this new proposal, and they're trying to, well, one of the criticisms of it is maybe like it's a little bit too centralized, the entity they're forming or how they're voting. But my opinion is this. If there is truth that these other chains used this method, right, to grow, like Sui and Solano, I think maybe that's a good lesson to take. And in terms of decentralization, I think Stacks derives a lot of decentralized nature just from settling on Bitcoin. And so this trade-off of like keeping this maximum decentralization, I think is misguided, because I think the ethos for decentralization is there from the beginning, and I do think that it won't be forgotten, right? I mean, there is like a time period that this emissions schedule for more tokens coming out ends, right, after it's funded. And I do think the culture of decentralization is baked into Stacks. Some of the other criticisms, like that I had, were not using native Bitcoin, right? And they've addressed that with SBTC, and now they have 5,000 Bitcoin deployed via SBTC in various protocols, mostly Zest. But I also think we need more stable coins, right? And we have these native stable coins, USDH, USDA, right? But we need like legit USDC, Tether. And I do think they're doing that, right? Supposedly it's coming in Q3. So I think some of these things are addressed, and I think some of people are blowing this way out of the water. And to me, it continues to be a sign that the market is wrong. Now, I could be wrong. I fully admit that. But I do think the product market fit is there, right? If you look at Coinbase and Morpho and taking loans out, it's super simple. Now, I really don't want to do that on Coinbase. And I think over time, I won't, because over time, I use Coinbase less and less. But there is value if Stacks works, where you just put your Bitcoin up with SBTC and you get a fat USDC loan, right? And if they can build out that product quicker, they can hire more devs, they can market better. One of the last things, this major criticism I have, is this like lack of degeneracy. Okay. Now there's some drawbacks to not having a chief degeneracy officer, or like chief marketing officer, right? You have these Columbia grads or Harvard grads, and they're like doing, they look professional and they look great on paper, but first of all, I don't think they're the ones making the deals, right, with these institutions. And maybe they are, and if they are, then I think you should continue to hire these people, right? But what I suspect is and I tweeted about this, you don't want a Harvard grad leading the marketing team, okay? Like, I know Munib is from Columbia or whatever, but you really just want, like, someone who understands people, right? Some girl from Arizona State who partied too much, or some dude from UCF who failed at engineering school, or UCF, for all you people who don't know, is University of Central Florida. I'm a Gator though, so go Gators. Forget about the Knights. But you really want that level of degeneracy, like smart enough, right? Smart, like proven themselves, they were able to graduate, but maybe took one too many Irish car bombs, or, you know, did a funnel of beer, right? Like, these are the people you want leading it, and they should be like a good trader, right? Or like have really good cultural skills with NFTs, right? These type of people need to be leading the helm, not Dan Held, right? Like a Bitcoin maxi, right? Not those people. Like that guy came on to Stacks. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He was so boring. Okay? So I think the answer is obvious. I think we need SIP 031 or whatever. And I have to believe that these people know what's going on. They have connections. You know, there's not any malfeasance going on. And it's entirely possible. That is part of the risk of the investment, in my opinion. But I don't think it's going to destroy the ethos of decentralization. Even these chains that, like, have proven that they're not decentralized, like Solana shutting down when they need to fix bugs, or, you know, whatever the case is, I do think you can become more decentralized over time. Again, so if we have to go through this period of slight centralization in order to get these stable coins, to get the marketing people who actually know what they're doing, to build out the devs, to build out, you know, I don't even know, maybe you got to build out a school for Clarity devs, right? Or do more R&D to make it so, and forgive me, the language is elusive right now for the coding language for Ethereum, but maybe you got to build like a bridge, or like you can deploy an Ethereum contract language on Clarity. You know, I don't know what they got to do, but it's obvious to me that they need the money. So anyway, that's my Stacks update and my SIP thing. I tried to write a thread on it. It didn't work. Like half my thread disappeared. So I'm going to be working on that. Anyway, you can call me Hunch. I still love Stacks, and I think it's just more opportunity. The market is just misaligned and not really getting it right. I think Stacks continues to innovate, be the leader in L2s on Bitcoin, and if they can get the product right, like you can take a loan out instantly from your Xverse or Leather Wallet, you can add your Stacks to the pool instantly on Leather Wallet. Like if they've got a centralized entity to do that, I mean, they tend to be listening to the market, right? I mean, like, how long did I shout from the rooftop that Stacks needs to be gas and SBTC or BTC needs to be native? You gotta like not even think about it. Like, are you using SBTC, right, or BTC, right? Because on Coinbase, I don't know if I'm using CBBTC or whatever for collateral. I'm just using BTC, right? That's the way it needs to be. So Stacks, get it right, get your money, do whatever you got to do. In my opinion, you could call me Hunch.